Hey, everybody, he, she's, theys, and everyone who slays. Time for kicking out of two. I'm Michael. With me, as always, is the human steel chair shot to your complacency, Tori. But tonight, we have a very special guest. He isn't just any wrestling mind. He is the power behind the passion, the mayhem behind behind the mic, the biggest brain in the game. You know him from the Run In Wrestling podcast. Give it up for Big Mike.
Hey, what's up, everybody? I appreciate
we need like sound effects. Where are you at on this? We need like applause, yeet. Like I'm sure we could come up with a list of them.
You see everything I've got on this screen and what I've done?
Come on, like, you can do more.
Now you want sound
effects? That man said you better
too?
recognize.
Goodness.
You can do more. I don't have to do it, so whatever.
All right. Well, today's show is going to be obviously a little bit different. Originally, we had planned for Tori not to be here, but gratefully, she has been brought home a little sooner than we thought, so she gets to be on. But this is essentially a two-person show, and Tori gets to chime in when she wants to. So gets to literally just be the talent.
I may have to go do step two, so I may be in and out a little bit.
She knew I couldn't carry the weight of me trying to take her place, so she knew she had to come in and fill in. Let's be honest. And I agree. I completely agree.
But Big Mike from the Run In Wrestling podcast, part of the Chairshot Sports Media Network. Thank you for joining us. We really appreciate you being on today. Pitch hitting, even though you ended up showing up anyway. We love that you're here. We're going to go ahead and just start it off straight away with the news. If I can get the graphic to work. There we go.
Yeah, exactly.
Kind of does. We can't hear it. They can hear it.
Oh, my bad. See, I'm still used to this new platform.
It's okay. All right. So, Jazz made an appearance at the Performance Center. She was doing a little bit of training up there, so that's really cool that they've let her into it. Now, whether that's going to be a permanent presence or not, we don't know. But she showed there and was doing some coaching, so good to see her back in it. I was a big fan of Jazz back in the day. Definitely one of those like anti-diva situations where she was just a badass. Evening Stampede, thanks for joining us.
What's going on, Stampede?
What do you think about Jazz being there, guys?
I think it's awesome. I think it's good for them to learn that kind of hard-hitting style that she had back then. I mean, obviously they get a lot more of it now than they used to, but having a veteran there like that, they need to do that more.
Yep.
I agree. I don't think it's a bad thing at all. He's got a ton of knowledge. She knows the business. She's been around forever. She's worked with every different type of performer you could.
Absolutely.
So, wealth of knowledge.
Absolutely. From one badass to another, Willow Nightingale, we talked about last week that she was in her contract year. It did not take them long at all to say, nope, you're not going anywhere. And they re-signed her. So it's good to see her making that permanent home. She is one of the few things that I think has been a permanent staple there that's been fun to watch. Always has been some sort of story with her, whether it's her and Statlander, or whether it's her now with the crew over there. Wow, my brain's breaking all of a sudden with Mox and his crew. There you go, with the Death Riders. So always something with her. I'm glad to see that they put her back up. What do you guys think about her staying there?
Perfect. That's where she needs to be.
I agree. She would have been okay somewhere like TNA. She would not have been okay in WWE.
Unfortunately not. With a past like Piggy James, which I know that was a different regime, but still bigger girls have not gotten a lot of good feedback from WWE.
Yeah, just look at what was Piper Niven Dewdrop.
Yeah.
So yeah, that wasn't that long ago. Exactly. I know it's a lot better. It's a lot better now, but I'm glad she stayed in AEW where they built her up and they can reap the rewards of a star that they built from a company that people say doesn't build stars.
Absolutely.
And she literally has been a day one. I mean, I know she wasn't there day one. I had vaguely heard her name before she showed up there. So to me, she's absolutely an original, and I'm good with it.
Yeah. And Stampede mentions that the negotiations were ongoing for a while. Obviously, we kind of say it all tongue in cheek as far as it being her contract year. I don't think any of us had any thought that she was going anywhere. But it is kind of a fun thought to say, you know, hey, if Tripp would have backed up the Brinks truck, what could have happened? Progress creative direction has changed a little bit. Progress has parted ways with Andrew Bowers, which was their head of creative. So we're interested to see where we're going to go with that. Creative decisions like Rio remaining the women's title, man like Doris winning the Super Strong Style 16, stuff like that, are all stuff that was already locked in. So we're going to see a little bit of a handover here towards the future of what's going to happen with him leaving. Herb, welcome in, Lady Alpha.
What's
Big
up,
Mike,
guys?
bringing all the fans. We're just here.
That's right.
Well, so full disclosure, Herb is actually on air on his channel too right now. So
oh wow,
he popped in just to say hello. Thank you. Lady Alpha is usually over there in the comments in that show as well. So I'm sure, because I did the same thing. I kind of popped in and said hey to them. So I'm sure they're returning the favor. So
I know that.
Yeah, anywhere.
So
definitely, yeah.
So I don't get to catch a lot of progress. Excuse me. I'm trying to go British all of a sudden with progress. You guys catch any of that, or just layman's?
No, I don't get a chance to. Is that on the Triller or whatever that you talked about? Is that on there?
You know what?
I know like GCW and stuff like that is. I don't know that I saw progress when I was looking through there.
I haven't seen it on there. I was hoping the Crockett Cup would be on there, and it wasn't on there. I was highly disappointed in that.
I don't think that airs till this weekend, though, is it? I don't think that aired live, though.
Oh, okay.
I could be wrong. I think it was taped the other day.
Okay, so Triller TV also offers live streams of Progress Wrestling events. Okay.
All right.
Their on-demand goes on their own Demand Progress Plus.
What's up, Randy?
I'm gonna let you do that one because that's.
So yeah, that's Randy. For any college football fans, that is Randy from the How About Them Effing Dogs podcast, or HBTFD cast. He runs like I said, Georgia Bulldogs podcast on Wednesdays. Also, he has started doing like seminars and stuff like that for creators like us who are trying to build their brand. He's been in media forever. So yeah, definitely go follow him. You see that's the handle up there. Definitely go give him a follow for not only his Georgia content, but also his mentorship. So he's helped me out a lot.
Very cool. Welcome to the show. Any friend of Big Mike's is a friend of ours.
I wouldn't go that far. We've met Sped.
Wow. Sped's not my friend. Sped's my brother.
There you go. I'm still waiting on the haircut.
I did it for him.
There you go. Cass, welcome in. Always a pleasure to see your stuff. AEW Anarchy in the Arena build. Obviously, we're on the way to that. It's in total chaos right now. We got tentative lineup, including most likely Swerve, Willow, Omega, Joe, Hobbs versus Young Bucks, Moxley, Gabe Kidd, and Marina Shafir.
I am excited the women are in this. I'm so excited about that.
Yeah. It's definitely going to be a nice little turn of events there. Apparently, there is also some backstage thought, though, of adding Shibata and Claudio to it. Maybe Hook and Wheeler Yuta.
That could be a lot.
Throw everybody out there.
Just everybody throw it out there. So it's always a fun event, though. I always love seeing just kind of the chaos of it. It's back to the idea of doing a cinema style match, because you're constantly going back and forth between stuff that's going on. It's always fun to watch.
Here's the thing. Where is Double or Nothing? It's in a like basketball arena, right? It's in Phoenix though, right?
That part, yes. I don't know. I mean, I don't think it's in like a big stadium, I don't think.
If it's not in a big stadium, they 100% should have this match in the stadium.
Well, this should be like an Anarchy in the Arena that breaks out of the arena.
It's the Desert Diamond Arena.
Okay. The problem with this is you're going to have so much going on. I wouldn't be... is Danielson healthy?
I mean, I think he's been quasi-healthy for a while, but...
Yeah, I think healthy enough.
I didn't know if he had surgery or not. If he's healthy, I won't be surprised if he comes back. Obviously, Darby's not going to be there. I don't think he'll be there.
I mean, if they helicopter him off the top of that thing.
I say, yeah, not unless they pick him up off the top of the mountain.
No, they do, apparently. Me and Michael had this conversation. Apparently,
yeah, some people only go up, and then they get helicoptered down.
I mean, that would be a good reward for making it to the top. Now you don't have to climb your ass all the way back down. Right. We'll just pick you up and take you back.
You climbed up there, climb down. Isn't that what we tell kids on the playground? You climbed up there, climb down.
Oh, that's good stuff.
There's just so much that could happen with this match.
Yeah, for sure.
I don't. My concern is there's going to be too much happening, and you can only get so many camera shots unless you're going to do like 4 or 5 screens on the screen at once.
Have it be like what's that, the red zone with the NFL, where it's like all the games going on at the same time.
These people, like this, you know what I mean? And then if somebody crosses over, you just combine those 2 screens. Like, you could do this really creatively.
Yeah.
TV-wise.
That'd be kind of fun. Make it very like video game-esque of...
I didn't even think about Jack Perry either.
Yeah.
I mean, are we really missing anything if he doesn't show up?
Come on now. He was doing good before he left.
Look, his character was great when he first came back. And then they put him with the Elite, and it was really stupid. Because he's had nothing to do with those guys his entire fucking career. But let's just hang out with the Young Bucks. I want that job too, but that's not happening.
You just want to hang out with the Young Bucks? I don't know if I want to do that.
Not really. I don't.
I mean, if they're paying me, I will. I don't know that I would do it for free.
That's fair enough.
But I just...
Or if I get to say bitch all the time. If I get just be like bitch in the back, then I might be okay with that too.
That shit is so funny. I'm sorry.
I do that anyway, though.
But it's so funny.
Will Ospreay and Pro Wrestling Eve are working towards a massive women's event in Europe by the end of 2025.
Who is?
Good.
Will Ospreay and Pro Wrestling Eve.
Okay.
So they're trying to get it's going to be a crossover show involving AEW, maybe New Japan. Trying to get some more women over there and get a nice little spotlight on women's wrestling, which I think is very well deserved. Women.
He actually mentioned that too in his CVV interview. He teased a little bit, like he does some coaching over there for him.
Yeah. So
it's good to see that progress, and it's good to see Tony support that. You know, him out there doing other stuff with other things. You know.
Yep. I just because of the things that I've seen Ospreay do, I'm sure it's not. I'm sure some people will probably talk about it being maybe counter programming, because we've talked about Evolution 2 coming. Of, well, if you're going to do a women's event, we're going to do a women's event, but it seems to be that it's not anything AEW based. It's literally they're trying to just get an event going. So hopefully that quells that a little bit.
I hope it is. Let them do it.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, I'm fine with it either way. Yeah, that'd be good too, Stampede. Have some ROH people, MLP, CMLL, Stardom. Get as many groups as you can in there. It'd be a lot of fun. Hell, get some Glow people in there. I'm good with that. I miss that show. I'm not even talking about the reboot. I'm talking about the old one, the original one. It was fun.
Well, you got Women of Wrestling that comes on that's out there in LA that's owned by Jeannie Buss, partly. So get her out there. Like AJ Lee and stuff like that as part of their their backstage crew. They can get involved.
Yeah. And give me some OVW women too while you're at it. I'd love to see some Haley Jade up there. MVP, there's a lot of question going on as far as that throw to commercial spot. I think we talked about it a little bit last week. Fightful has verified it was very much planned. It was part of the structure. So it wasn't just like, we ran out of time and had to hurry up and move it to another section. No, it was part of it. He was supposed to throw it to the commercial and then come back.
To me, when they did this, MJF should either been in the ring when they came back or on his way to the ring. This whole week came back and he's not out there. They have to go find or come back to Shelton back there looking for him. Something. I just thought it was really awkward.
But I think that was the point, having to go back there and find him.
Yeah.
They wanted that to be part of it.
I mean, at most, maybe the Shelton going back there to find him, like have him be looking for him already, maybe. But yeah, no, I think that was the entire problem. He was hiding from Bobby. He didn't want to show up because he was afraid of what was going to happen. Jazymn Nyx had an injury. There is an update on that, though. Even though she was sidelined from NXT last week, WWE is hopeful she won't miss much time. Apparently, it's a very short-term thing. It's a very minor injury, nothing that is going to cause a lot of outage for her. There was also some UK tryouts. There was some updates that just happened. I didn't write those down, so I don't have those names on me. But one that was definitely talked about was Zozea. I hope I'm saying that right. I did go and kind of watch some of his stuff. Very smooth, technical wrestler. So I think it's going to be a nice addition to the roster. A lot of his stuff was very much like ground-based stuff, so it'd be kind of fun to see that a little bit.
I get that, Stampede. It felt awkward.
Yeah. We don't book a show though. I'm not sure that Tony does either, but we don't book a show.
I could.
Janai Kai is leaving MLW. Former MLW Women's Champ is leaving MLW after her contract expires. She's made cryptic posts hinting at her departure, and that was now confirmed by Fightful. So we'll have to see where she ends up. As far as I can tell, there hasn't been any specific word of where she's going to be. She may just be putting feelers out there, getting the excitement ready for it. Speaking of other deals, though, a lot of people have been questioning Alberto El Patron, because the rumor on the internet that kept going around was that WWE offered him a contract or gave him a contract. It has been verified. No, the contract they are talking about is the contract that was bought out by WWE or AAA. It is still just a AAA contract. It's just owned by the WWE. So he has not been given a new contract. He's not going anywhere. As far as everybody in the back has been saying, they still are refusing to work with him. So they'll probably write out that contract as long as he's got it and probably part ways by the end of it. Thank you, Stampede, for the other two names. Yeah, those are the two names.
If you're going to future endeavor anybody, that's one you could definitely get rid of.
Absolutely. And this last little bit of news, it's not really like news, but last night, unfortunately, there was a massive injury that happened in the triple threat match for the women's Money in the Bank. Zoe, unfortunately, was going for her massive drop kick that she does when she springboard off the rope. Miscommunication, slowness, whatever it was that happened, something happened where she didn't quite make it to Kyrie. She landed very awkwardly on that right leg, going pretty much an entirely different direction.
Yeah. I will say props to the ref. He knew immediately something was wrong. Props to Io and Rhea for seeing it and both of them just backing off and stopping.
Yeah.
Yes.
Rhea, I mean, she's been around long enough. You could tell, like, she was making facials to the camera. She was looking up at the Money in the Bank briefcase, kind of buying that time as far as the camera is concerned to get the camera off of Zoe for a while. I don't know about you all, but I was so hoping that we would come back and she'd still be out there and that it was some sort of like swerve, or like I was hoping something wasn't what we saw. But once they came back, they did a couple of replays of it, and it was quite obvious that she landed bad.
Yeah. I like I was telling you guys earlier, I saw the injury on Twitter before I got to the match because I stopped watching the show. I fast forwarded through it. I didn't want to see it again. Yeah. Once was good. I'm all set.
I don't blame you. I mean, it's a rough spot. I mean, I've seen it at least 30 more times on Twitter just today of people posting different angles and slow-mo shots and up-close shots, and it's a rough injury.
But I will give the internet a little credit, at least the internet that I follow. We'll put it that way, because I can't say for everybody. I actually have not seen any discourse about fault at all today. It has all been more, hey, I hope Zoe's okay. I hope speedy recovery. Normally, the day after like this, you get, well, so-and-so should have done this. Well, they should have done that. I haven't seen any of that. And so, at least for this specific moment, good job, IWC, for not throwing that out there, because that's just BS. I mean, things happen, unfortunately.
But I don't think, first of all, I don't think I've ever heard anyone say that. So this is a monumental moment. Because generally we don't get to tell the IWC good job.
Not generally.
I'm glad I could be here for the first.
Yeah. It was, I do appreciate, like you said, I haven't seen any, it was Kyrie's fault. Zoe shouldn't have done it. I haven't seen any of that. It's all just been, that sucks. We hope she gets better and comes back.
Yep.
And to be clear, if I'm on Twitter and I see any of that shit, I'm gonna fight somebody. I'm gonna fight about it. Because no, that is not, it doesn't matter. It doesn't matter what happened.
No, it doesn't.
It wasn't intentional.
I've only seen one off-color comment, and that was someone saying that women in WWE need to learn how to just take a rest hold. I'm not sure exactly even what that means, but like, she tried to do a move that she's done a bunch of times before, and just accident happens. Like, it's wrestling, unfortunately. Yeah. So, speedy recovery to her, though. Hopefully, like, she's able to come back quick. Hopefully there's no complications in it. But that does it for the news. So we're going to shift gears now. We're going to do our 3 count. Now, since we were planning on Tori not being here, Tori does not have a 3 count. So she's just going to react to ours. I'm going to leave yours, Mike, because I'm old school, and I believe that the champ should make everybody else wait. So I'm going to leave you for the last 3 count. And I'm going to go ahead and throw mine out there. Also, because your last one, I want to talk about your main event one, because I think we both agree that some bullshit happened this past weekend.
Yes.
But mine, so the first one on my 3 count is meanest moment. A storm is brewing for Double or Nothing. Not many people have got to pin Toni Storm recently, and Mina getting that opportunity in that 4 women contender match, or what, I forget what they call it.
It was a
qualifier. Yeah, there we go. That's the word I was looking for.
Eliminator.
Yes.
Yeah. I couldn't think of it either.
It was really good to see that. Plus, it was just a great match to begin with. AZM got to be shined on a little bit too. They made her seem very good.
Sky Blue looked good in her return.
Sky Blue looked amazing in her return. Glad to see her back. Unfortunately, I can't make any her and Cora Jade jokes anymore because they're completely different characters. A little bit of history on that.
We may get them together now.
Maybe. When Cora Jade and Sky Blue were wearing the same backwards ball cap, had the same hair color.
Like they looked exactly the same.
I'm like, which show are we watching? I don't know what's going on here. And then Cora added the spikes to her, so that at least it was a little bit different. But they also, AZM, though, they also kind of protected her a little bit by the way it all went out. They didn't do a lot of offense against her, so it got to kind of keep her fresh and new, and so we get to see more of her going forward, hopefully. What did you two see of that match, or did you even see the match?
I did. No, I thought it was a great match. I talked about it on the show. I was glad to see AZM Azumi, as they called her. I'm glad to see her get a spotlight. You know, she just won one of Mercedes Monet's 37 titles.
Japan Strong.
Yeah. And obviously they are probably going to continue that after the match because Mercedes attacked her. So they did let her do that. So hopefully we get to see more of her there. I'm glad to see Mina win. Like you said, a lot of people haven't beat Toni Storm, even less have beaten her in eliminator challenges. I think it's been 2 in a row now, but before that, it was nobody that had beaten her in Eliminator challenges before that, if I'm not mistaken.
She won the first Eliminator challenge.
But I don't think anyone had beaten her in Eliminator challenge.
Oh,
Had beaten
no,
Toni
I don't
Storm
think so.
in Eliminator
I don't
until
think so, no.
the last 2 they have.
Yeah.
But until then, I mean, it's glad to see him changing it up a little bit. So, but yeah, just really good match. I enjoyed it.
Yeah, very much so. Like I said, Sky Blue looked great, and shout out to her for walking the runway in Miami for swimwear week or whatever, like doing a fashion show like 2 days later.
Oh, yeah.
Like that's crazy. The match was great. They all looked fantastic. Props to Toni for taking that L relatively cleanly. Stop it. She's 22.
Good Lord.
Wow. I'm definitely curious to see what we do with Mina on Sunday. I think we get Mariah May coming back. I agree. Somebody posted a minute ago they don't think Toni's losing, and I agree. I don't think Toni's losing that yet. If she does, I think it'll be All In.
Yeah.
And even that, I don't know who it would be to, unless it's Mariah.
Yeah. Isaiah
All
Roy in
In will
chat
be-
had the same statement as far as thinking Mariah's going to show up to help Mina. So maybe that starts something up with her and Toni again.
I mean, All In has to be either Mercedes or
Athena.
Statlander,
Or no,
right?
Mercedes
yeah.
No,
Statlander?
Jamie Hayter.
Jamie Hayter, that's right. Yeah, because that finals this Sunday, and the winner gets to go to All In.
Yep.
So it'd have to be one of them.
Well, that's valid, yeah.
And as much as I've enjoyed Mercedes, I don't want her with another title.
It'll be Jamie.
Please no.
I think it'll be Jamie. Because of the whole AZM thing. And Athena.
Unless they're going to go through and let her lose all the other titles up until All In, like they started with Azumi, I'm okay with it then. Then she can have that little bit of redemption, or she can cheat to beat her, however you want to do it. Maybe Mariah helps her, and maybe she's hired Mariah May to help her out at All In and does that. But
yeah, I've been calling
for
a crisis of confidence with her like forever. I think her starting to lose every title she's got, maybe losing her mind a little bit. Like, I think that's a good story for her, because it's gotten really stale of just like, hey, I'm great and I collect everything. The second of my 3 count is the Bloodline Civil War that's going on. They did a lot of picking up on the Sikoa versus Fatu thing just this past on SmackDown. Solo tried to publicly pull rank and demand loyalty of Fatu, saying, getting them to say the "I love you" Solo line that he used to say all the time. 12-year vet.
I just read Stampede.
Good Lord. Not only is she great, but it makes me feel old as hell.
I mean, if you're having to run the ropes with a walker, I mean, granted, Ric Flair probably did it at one point, but that was the other way.
That was a different walker.
But then, adding the fact that Jeff Cobb's just kind of at the background of this 3-way conversation that they're having. But the other thing I wanted to bring up about this whole thing is that something I posted in the chat yesterday in your guys' review of Raw. I think this starts the rebuild of Solo Sikoa. He lost to Ulafala, and a lot of people are like, the downfall of Solo is something we should document and all that. He had to have a downfall. He lost to Ulafala. He lost his power. He lost his aura. Now we got to build him back up. And so him winning, even though I didn't think he was going to win that match and getting the Money in the Bank, I didn't think that was going to happen. But him getting in that match is kind of, to me, part of that, of him building that aura back on. I do feel bad for Phoenix, though, because like Money in the Bank ladder match is built for a guy like Phoenix. So that's kind of weird that he's not going to be in it. Unless they have
I'm wondering if they're going to do a last chance.
Yeah. Unless they do something like that. What do you guys think?
I agree with Tori. I hope they do a last chance and get him back in there. I'm
sorry, JC Macias.
Mateo.
Oh, sorry.
JC Mateo.
I keep saying his name Macias because it reminds me of when he was in Lucha. And so I try to mix the two. Anyway, yeah, Mateo.
Yeah, I mean, I'd like to see him get in it. Like I mentioned last night, I'm wondering if all of the losing between Phoenix and Penta or is a way to kind of say, well, look, maybe we need to team together and reunite the Lucha Bros, and that's what all this is leading to. So it probably won't happen. But I mean, to not have him in there,
we book it better
does
than they
seem a
do,
little
and then it doesn't
crazy
happen, and then
to
we're
not
mad.
have him in there.
yeah.
This is the sad part is I would almost like to see both Ray and Penta get in just to see what crazy shit happens.
Yeah.
Yeah, them teaming up in there and then eventually having to go against each other would be a lot of fun to watch.
Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
Yeah.
And then my number 3, it kind of goes in with that a little bit. It's more of a conversation piece that I wanted to have with you, Big Mike, and Tori. Obviously, since you're here, you can jump in as well. Right now, their storytelling on Raw is they're mixing all the stories together. You've got Seth Rollins, Jey Uso, Logan Paul, Gunther. All of them are doing a thing. You got AJ Styles, Penta. You've got American Made in there. Judgment Day's part of it too. You got that whoever Grande Americano is, whoever that guy is. You have him part of it too. They're mixing all of these things.
Somebody
together.
who needs to work on his timing is who it is.
That too.
Because Chad Gable would never.
He would never have missed that spot. While I do like it, because it keeps it unpredictable of like, where are we going to go from here? At some point, does it get non-coherent as a story? What do you all think?
I don't think it has yet. I really liked the way, especially that they did the Gunther, Seth Rollins, how they would just kind of show up and at the end of someone else's interview and go, oh, hey, by the way, I'm still here. And if you beat this guy and this guy, you got to deal with me. And then later on, it's, oh, hey, just in case you beat this guy and this guy, you got to deal with me. You know, dropping those seeds throughout the night is something that they used to do a lot, and they used to do well back in the Attitude Era and in the beginning of the Ruthless Aggression era. I'm glad to see them get back to that, as long as they don't overdo it, like they have a tendency to do sometimes.
Don't do too much.
I don't.
That's a good point. That's probably true. That's why it's not Chad Gable, because his head would be too big to fit the mask.
It's absolutely Chad Gable. Can we stop?
I don't know what you're talking about.
This is worse than changing.
I mean, we haven't seen Omos in forever. I'm just saying. Have you ever seen Omos and Grande Americano in the same room?
I mean, they just so happened to release Braun Strowman recently. I mean, come on now.
This is not Mr. America. Can we stop?
I still will love 1 week.
A parody of that, by the way. I feel like this whole thing with Chad Gable is almost a parody of Mr. America.
I mean, it's kind of telling that line a little bit.
I'm still waiting for that 1 week where he comes out and you see him and Chad Gable next to each other, but it's clearly somebody else in the mask. Like it's Brutus Creed or somebody in the mask, and Chad Gable standing next to him having a conversation with him just to see what the reaction.
Tori, did you have more to say, or are you done with our bullshit?
The whole thing with the way everything is, I think you can do it short term. I don't think long term it makes any sense.
I actually think, I don't know that it was supposed to last this long, to be completely honest. I think because the entertainment value they've gotten out of it, I think it's lasted a little longer than they originally planned.
And that's fair, but...
And maybe because Ray got hurt, maybe that was supposed to end a lot quicker with Ray.
Maybe.
Well, but my statement also goes to what Michael asked, though, with them intertwining everything. It's, again, at some point, people are going to stop caring.
Yeah.
Because the person that I'm interested in is now too busy dealing with 64 other people that there's no specific storyline. Like I'm so tired of Jey Uso looking like a punk as the champ. Logan Paul has laid him out 4 times now. First of all, we know Logan Paul is not winning the title. But you're making your champ look like a chump after you had this big WrestleMania moment. Why?
Well, I was going to say WWE, but it's actually wrestling history in general of the go home math. You're leading up to a pay per view. Usually, the person that's going to win, you're laying them out weeks ahead of time to make it look like, oh my God, he might lose, just to have him win at the end of it.
And I would agree with that if he was face to face hitting him. But the fact that he's doing it from out of nowhere, out of the crowd, sneaking up behind him, it has to be the sneak attack because they have propped up Logan's quote unquote knockout power the entire time he's been there.
Yeah,
I guess he's got some kind of metal rod in his wrist or something. What they've said. I mean, that may be true or not. I don't know. But the fact that he's having to sneak in and do it, that makes it a little better to me because it shows one, Logan Paul sneaky, which we all kind of know. Anybody that's paid attention to Logan Paul for years, we expect that.
Yeah.
But it doesn't make him look as bad because it's got to be a sneak attack because he knows he can't stand to him face to face.
Yeah, for sure.
And I completely disagree. He's not dropping that title to Rollins at SummerSlam. He's keeping it longer than that.
That's a good point of discussion.
I would say Rollins would take it, if not before SummerSlam, at SummerSlam.
He's dropping it overseas to somebody from wherever they are.
But anyway, I mean, to the point though, just like in this type of booking, like the highs are high, but you know, if you get too far into it, then the lows are going to be really, really low. It's just throwing stuff at the wall, hoping that it makes some sort of impact. So hopefully we don't get to that point. But I have enjoyed it so far as it intertwining everything, because you never know what's going to happen. I never thought I would see Gunther addressing Logan Paul in the middle of the ring like that. That was just crazy.
And giving him respect at that.
Yeah. Lord. Well, and giving props to McAfee too, which I thought was kind of fun. Yeah. Of just like, hey, at least he had heart. So that was a good.
He got no brains, but he's all heart.
That's right. All right, to Big Mike's 3. First one is the Julia and Roxy situation.
Yeah, I mentioned it the other night. I think they played that perfectly. Where one goes to SmackDown, one goes to Raw. You don't have to worry about a breakup angle for a tag team that was never really a tag team.
Mm-hmm.
You know, Julia and Roxanne even mentioned it on their first night of Raw. Look, we just had the same idea. We're both rookies trying to make a name. That's all that was. Don't make it anything more than it needs to be. We'll stay together until we need to, and then when we don't, we don't.
Mm-hmm.
So that's what happened. I'm glad that they did exactly what they did. Julia deserves to be on SmackDown. Let her trail her own path there. Roxanne needs to stay on Raw because there's more stories intertwined with her. Because before Julia even came up, obviously you had the stuff with Bayley and everything else. So yeah, I think they did that perfectly.
I think they both win their qualifier, and we get them going toe to toe at Money in the Bank.
It'd be interesting.
Or
get that more on the big screen.
The other one to win, or one costs the other one to win. I think we end up putting them back together, but in a really good feud that matters. Not the 3 seconds they wrestled each other in NXT.
Okay. I will say that the breakup to me, like that backstage little vignette that they did, showed a perfect example of the difference between the two characters. Because you have Roxy over there talking 90 miles an hour of like, you know, dude, we need to go talk to the GM. We need to get this fixed. We need to get our rematch. And then just Julia very simply, whoa. There is no we.
Yeah.
And that's it. That's all she says. Like, very simple, very to the point. Shows the difference between Roxy being this little chihuahua, always trying to get what she gets, and then Julia just being a badass and straightforward.
Yeah, I'm really glad that she's going to be over on SmackDown. It's going to be, hopefully at first, I think Julia will eventually go for a main title, but at first it will definitely heat up the US the US title division over there, because I don't think she goes straight for a world title, obviously, because there's a lot of people, you know, Jade, Naomi, Nia, and whoever wins the Money in the Bank, which if it's not one of them, I think she will make a good U.S. championship contender / champion at one point, and before she gets moved up to the main event.
Absolutely, build her up from there. Because yeah, I mean, kind of back to what I was saying is about the mixing all the stories in. You've kind of got the women's title over there doing that same thing of like you've got all of this different storyline going in between Jade kind of being part of it and Naomi kind of being part of it, and then you still got Tiffany and Nia and all of it kind of thrown together. What do you think of just to kind of throw it to Stampede's question there? What do you think about her being in the Temu Judgment Day, or that little tease that they did with the chicken tender slut?
The chicken nugget slut, because those were not tenders. I had to correct John last night. I'll continue to. Those were not tendies. Those were nuggets. I'm okay as long as she's the catalyst for the split. I don't want her to be in there long term, just because I don't know that it makes sense long term. But if she is in there for a very short while and she is the catalyst for Finn to break off, I'm perfectly fine with that.
I'm good with it too. I very much see it just kind of put it back to, because they're redoing a lot of storylines. To me, Finn being the Vince McMahon in this conversation of inducting the poison into what he built. And so him bringing Roxy in just to kind of be that poison to spread the discourse in the team, I think is kind of a fun little addition to it. Thanks, Herb.
That's definitely that part of it.
Herb saying everybody in here is awesome.
Thank you, Herb. Sorry, I was actually looking down at your show when you put that comment up, so I didn't see it. And then Lady Alpha's popped up.
He's very touchy about his chicken, apparently. Absolutely. But he's right though.
As he should be.
That's the second time now too, because when he got chicken as a gift before from Liv, it was also chicken nuggets. It wasn't chicken tenders either.
Yep.
So
before him and Liv were a thing, then Liv learned, and then Liv started doing tendies instead of nuggies, and then you saw what happened after that. So
he was staring at her nuggies too. So
yeah,
we'll have to see where that goes.
A little bit too long for Raquel's taste, obviously.
Obviously. Chicken tenders from a chicken slut or whatever she said. A chicken hoe, that's what it was. I agree, Stampede. I don't see her being in that.
I am also very, very particular about my chicken. Yes, as someone who prefers chicken over a lot, chicken is one of my favorite things to eat. Yes, I am very particular.
Speaking of which, have you had the tenders at McDonald's that they brought back?
I tried them last week. Wasn't a huge fan. They were okay, but I actually, and I guess this will go against everything I just said, I actually like the nuggets at McDonald's more than I like the tenders at McDonald's.
Well, the tenders are not great.
Usually it's the other way around.
The sauce that came out because of the tenders, though, that sauce is amazing.
I'm a fan of that.
Yeah, it's like
the
a
tenders
spicy
themselves.
Big Mac sauce.
Yeah, the tenders themselves. I wasn't.
This turned into a food podcast? What the fuck?
Yep.
I mean, hello.
You leave and two big guys are still here. We're going to talk about food at some point.
Big meaty men talking meat.
I love it. You're number 2. You want to talk about the Smack Team Tag.
Bump that.
You want to talk about the SmackDown Tag Team Division and how well they're cooking right now.
Yes. In my humble opinion, best tag team division in the U.S. in the Western Hemisphere. I won't speak to in New Japan, anything like that, because I don't see it. But AEW, WWE, NXT, the SmackDown Tag Division is by far the best tag division in North America, and it gets better every week. I'm glad we're getting the tag title match again. Not sure why it's not on the Saturday Night's Main Event. Why they're not showcasing it on a bigger stage, but hey, if you're going to prop up your main show SmackDown like that, more power to you. It's going to be a great match, and it's one of those few that you could make a case for every single tag team, even somebody like Pretty Deadly or Legado, to come up and make a title run in 2 weeks.
Absolutely.
Obviously, the Legado's a little bit harder because they're doing the infighting with Angel right now, but they could very easily turn that around and say, look, here's your last chance, go do a title shot. And then they're in a title match, and it's understandable.
Yeah.
And I don't know that you can say that about any other division. So, in my opinion, by far and away, the best tag team division in America.
I don't disagree with you. I mean, and to speak to some of them, I mean, you've got DIY who's doing this amazing heel run. You got Pretty Deadly who's getting this face momentum all of a sudden. People are loving seeing them out there. The Street Profits and their kind of tweener kind of more heelish, but tweener for the most part. Their new attitude has put them up in the stratosphere. You've got Motor City Machine Guns that are still there. You got Los Garza, like you mentioned. You got Gorillas of Destiny. Like, that's still a thing that we're waiting to see happen again as soon as Tonga Loa comes back. And whatever's happened to Tama Tonga now, because now he's just kind of missing in action too.
It's like a shoulder or something like that, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah. But yeah, absolutely. It's very balanced as far as like the heels and faces dynamic you got going on there. They're all great in the ring. Like it's definitely a pretty stacked setup that they got there. Tori, what do you think?
Yeah, 100%.
Oh yeah, 100% agree. It's their tag team division is absolutely stacked. I think the split up of Los Garza is a good thing. Berto and Angel aren't a bad tag team. Humberto Carrillo was on a roaring run before they put him with them, and then he just died. Him and Santos are going to have some absolute banger matches.
Yep.
So I think him splitting off is a good thing, and the sooner the better.
All right. Well, your number 3 is something I'm very interested to talk about. Tori, you don't watch the show with me, so you might be a little lost on this one. But LFG had their final episode of the season. They crowned their winners. The winner of the whole thing, as far as the coach is concerned, is Undertaker. He won the title. Very pretty title, too. Like, I got to say, it's a nice looking belt. But
better than the speed belt.
Yep. But the winners, as far as the newbies, not exactly what everybody was expecting to happen. So take it away, Mike.
So if you missed it, the winners were Tyra May Steele for the women and Jasper Troy for the men of Team Undertaker and Team Booker T, respectively. I don't mind Jasper Troy as much. He wasn't my favorite.
Mm-hmm.
But I could definitely say well deserved for him. You saw some progression in his character work from beginning to end. He definitely got better physically. They mentioned almost every episode how he cut down like 8% body fat during the show.
Mm-hmm.
His in-ring work stayed consistent throughout the entire thing. Got progressively slightly better because it was already fairly high in the first place. So I don't necessarily disagree with him winning. My disagreement is more with the women's side. With all due respect to Tyra May Steele, who is a legit gold medalist, from beginning to end, her character, her in-ring ability did not grow hardly at all to me. As opposed to Xena Sterling, who changed from night and day from episode 1 to the final episode and proved that she, again, in my opinion, proved that she deserved the win in that final match by one competing injured or hurt, injured, whatever you want to call it.
Yeah.
And still going out and putting on a great match and putting on a great show and really carrying Tyra May Steele in that final match.
Yeah.
I believe it is a huge robbery that she didn't win. Again, I'm not saying that to say Tyra May Steele is not good, because she is, but from beginning to end, up until that last match, and in that last match, I think Xena Sterling made leaps and bounds more progress than Tyra May Steele has, and deserved the win, especially from Tyra May Steele, who had already been on TV. She was on Level Up a good bit. I saw her a few times on Level Up, so I had even seen her before the show, and even from there to now, it hasn't been a huge change. So that's kind of my take on that.
And I totally agree with you. To me, like, so Jasper, I kind of figured was going to win, and that's just because to me, him and Shiloh were 1A, 1B. And the only thing that kind of held Shiloh back to me was he had that injury very early on of where he got knocked out. And of course, we do have to think of this kind of tongue in cheek, because as we could see with like the BJ stuff, some of this was very kayfabe, some of it was legit competition. So, like, obviously, there's a little bit of tongue in cheek there, but if that was really happening, I could see that being something that would have held him back. Of like, well, there is some question of can he go in the ring, but his change of character from, I think it was like the second episode where he had that big blow up that Taker overheard of him, like, I'm here because I need to be here, I want to be here, and they're going to see more from me. Like, from then to now, completely built his character to something new. And so I love what they're doing with him. I can see why Jasper got it. I never could get behind Tyra. And, you know, Bully Ray gets a lot of flack for a lot of his opinions on things. But I completely agree with him of, like, you're trying to be this badass gold medalist. You're trying to be like this, almost this female Kurt Angle. But you have people out wrestling you every week, which should not happen if you're a gold medalist. Your character, even though you're trying to be a bad guy in some of them, you're still just kind of this smiley, like, fun person. You're not really doing anything heelish when you were trying to play a heel. Her character development didn't really do anything. She was still just the same person from the start of the show to the end of the show. Where Xena was absolutely breaking barriers on what we all thought. Because, like, I think everyone watching that first episode thought, well, she's going to be one of the first ones out the door. Because she's just bubbly, blonde bimbo that, you know, is just here because of how she looks. Proving that completely wrong as we went along. Also getting to have a little bit of special airtime because of Mickie James commenting on how she looks. Which I love the fact that all we did was add a skirt, and now it's fine. It's the same outfit, just added a skirt.
Yeah. But that was Mickey's whole thing, is she didn't want to see her ass hanging out. So I guess that covered the ass part, and that's all that Mickie really cared about. So
apparently,
I guess she fixed that one issue, and then there you go.
But yeah, no, I'm with you. I think that was the downfall of it. I'm intrigued to see what's going to happen this next season, because they've already mentioned that Xena and Shiloh will both be back for season 2.
Yeah, I thought that was weird too. And hopefully going forward, as much fun as I enjoyed this season, I don't want them to see them put people that have been there 2 or 3 years in there with people that have been there 2 or 3 weeks.
Yeah.
Because when you look at the final 4, all of them had been there a year or more.
Yeah.
And the people like, you know, Holyfield and Bailey and some of the ones who did a really good job but just hadn't had that experience, every single coach said, well, they're just more TV ready. Well, of course they are, because most of them had already been on TV.
Yeah.
Shiloh had been on TV. Tyra had been on TV. I want to say Drake Moreau had been on TV. Hell, Drake Moreau and Cutler James were a tag team on Level Up.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's
Cutler, I think, even showed up on NXT a couple of times.
Yeah, and I mean, and yes, Xena Sterling had been on NXT in backstage segments. She was in the crowd for like the July 4th, so the episode where BJ Ray famously got put through the table, because again, he's a dipshit, and his name precedes him, and it's just not fair to the people like Bailey and Holyfield and all that, who are never going to be able to catch up in 2 weeks or a month to someone who's been doing this for 2 years.
Yeah.
So either do all 1 month or below, or do all like over a year.
I agree with you that. I think, I mean, it's obvious they're trying to modernize the Tough Enough concept, but I like the idea of someone coming off the street. I like someone, like, having Bailey come in there who has never had a match and absolutely killing the character work and absolutely killing being that monster in the ring. And yeah, she could use some more polishing to be TV ready, but like, she came leaps and bounds. And if it was just a bunch of people that had just started wrestling, I think she could have won the whole damn thing, because she just
100%
got it. She understood it. So I agree with you. I feel like we need to pull that back of what Tough Enough was, which is these are people that want to wrestle and just haven't made that leap yet, or they just made that leap and just started to do it. Because, like, I think Josh Matthews, if I remember right, like, he had just started training on the indies when he was in Tough Enough, and so he hadn't really built a base yet. I do think in this, though, I think Xena is going to very much be the Ms. Mizanin of this particular competition.
Yes.
Of, we're not going to hear a lot out of Tyra, and she's going to probably eventually go away. Xena will come back in, and we'll see more of her in the future.
I won't say that. I think Tyra, there will be a place for Tyra, just because she has the natural ability.
Mm-hmm.
She may end up being, and as much as I hate to kind of put that kind of onus, she's going to be someone like a Shayna Baszler, like a Zoe Stark, who doesn't have a ton of personality but can really go in the ring, and you have to find something to do with her. But she's going to be good in the ring to be there, and the more she learns, if she continues to pick it up, she will be a valuable asset to the company. I don't know that she will ever be a big star just because I haven't seen that personality out of any of her character work.
Yeah.
And again, she's only been there a couple years. Not many people can do that in 2 years or whatever. So,
yeah.
But definitely, I think Xena's farther ahead character wise than anything.
Absolutely. I mean, and kind of in the same boat, because like she, I think she had mentioned like one of the first matches that she did on the show was like her first handful of matches that she's ever done. And so to me, that is the point of seeing this type of progression of she should have won because of how much she progressed in building herself into a superstar by the end of that show, that you could have put her on TV with that bubbly little character and helped her come along. But we'll have to see what season 2 comes up with.
BJ Ray, Cutler James, and Xena Sterling all got signed at the same tryout. It's the one that they actually had a Roku show about that tryout, and it was like 2 WrestleManias ago or something like that.
Okay.
But they'd been there a while, but none of them had actually had like matches. Whereas Drake Moreau, Tyra May Steele, and all that had made it to Level Up and things like that. And I honestly think if maybe Evolve had been done before LFG had started, maybe people like Tyra end up on an Evolve kind of thing, and then we get some of that. So I'm hoping going forward it's focused more on the ones who have only been there less than a year, and let the other people go to places like Evolve, or let them do some of the indie shows like WWE ID stuff, and stuff like that, and let them get more outward experience as opposed to the LFG part, which could be just introducing new people into.
If you could change one thing about the show, since we're leading into a second season of it, what is something you think you would do different aside from the time frame that you just mentioned?
The coaches should not be the judges.
Okay.
Especially Booker T. Because Booker T was never going to go against one of Booker T's people. Ever.
Yeah. Okay, the dude that won LFG, Jasper Troy, dropped Obafemi tonight.
Oh, shit.
He came in and attacked Oba.
Wow.
I mean, that's a way to
go. That black hole slam, which wasn't great, but it wasn't terrible. Seen much worse.
Okay.
I mean, he's a monster. So I don't know.
He's a monster. No bread, all meat.
That may be flying a little too close to the sun at first. But hey,
I think so.
Maybe they're just doing it to make a statement. Well, I mean, if you look at Dark State, they went after him first too.
Yeah.
And then now it was just kind of to make a statement. So maybe it's kind of the same thing.
Maybe. I can agree with you on that. I miss the fan aspect, like having the fans vote on the thing, which I understand that makes it a little more difficult with the shooting of it, because then you have to shoot it quasi live. But yeah, just the coaches because half the time they voted for themselves. So like, what was the point?
It's one of those, if you're going to do it, and I don't care if you have different judges each week. You have enough people sitting around the performance center. Have them show up for what you need, do what you need to do, and go on.
Yeah.
And those were some of my favorite ones, where they had somebody like CM Punk or AJ Styles or somebody like that who were giving the points away.
Yeah.
Because the judges the judges could give their input, but the judges had no bearing on who got the point. Yeah. So if they did more of that,
that's not a bad idea either. Yeah.
Maybe the last episode you bring all of the guest judges in to make the final decision to see, okay, well, I was here on episode 1.
Or however you need to do it.
Yeah.
But having the judges vote for their own people is so stupid.
Well, in the way they did the finale, they did it at the Madison Square Garden show. So all of the big names would have been there. So they could have made their way over there. Exactly.
Yeah.
All of them could have made their way over for a final judging.
Well, and if nothing else, like make that final one. That's where the fans get to be part of it. Like they get to vote for who they think.
Yeah, and then you have a live episode announcing the live winners after the vote of a week or so.
Yeah, but I agree with you. I like that idea. All right.
I'm just glad Booker T didn't win the belt.
Amen to that, because we would have never heard the end of that.
He'd have had it on the desk in NXT tonight.
Yep, probably would have. All right. Well, normally we do a Twitter topic now, but Big Mike is bringing with him a segment that's been tearing it up over at the Run-In. It's time for the try. Oh.
Did you see Stampede's comment? Because that's a fair question.
Oh. Yes. Okay. I was going to ask you about that.
Okay. Go ahead. If Bryan Danielson comes back for a match, who should be the opponent be based on the context of the Death Rider storyline from the beginning? Go ahead.
Wheeler Yuta. Because he was the one that was closest to him at the time of the turn.
Mm-hmm.
I think you could go up to Moxley at the end, but the first one has to be Wheeler Yuta.
No, I need about 3 or 4 matches again with those two. I need a Pure Rules match. I need an Extreme Rules match. And then something as a blow-off.
A hair match.
Hair versus hair.
But
it's not the hair on the head, though. It's the beard.
It's going to be a steak match. If Daniel loses, he has to eat a steak.
That's pretty good.
That's one of my favorite stories of him. When they were doing that weird game show NXT, he was already then kind of doing the no meat, no sugar, no like any of that stuff. And they had one of them where you had to chug a soda. And he was like, I lost that immediately because as soon as I took that first drink, I about gagged. Because he just hadn't been drinking soda in so long.
See, Stampede's just insulting me now. I want a tendy. If it's a bingo and I got the question right, I want a tendy, not a nugget.
There you go.
Unless it's from McDonald's, and then I'll take a nugget.
Yeah. So to what I was saying, so it is time for the Try Matchmaker, the Ultimate Fantasy Booking Battleground, where he would take Titans and put them in the ring as a kind of a what if. So you wanted to bring the big meaty men slapping meat version of this.
Oh, you gotta say it right. It's the big meaty men slapping meat.
What are we doing here?
So basically, what this is the Run-In matchmaker. You book a 4-way match between the 4 competitors. Obviously, it's Big E, it's Keith Lee, it's AJ Francis, and it's Jeff Cobb. So you book your own fatal 4-way match between those 4 people. And who would win? You said you could book a show earlier. You said
who's
it.
Who's winning?
So now Honestly? Here's who's winning it, and how's the match go?
Keith Lee's winning. I'm calling it right now. Keith Lee wins this.
How does he win, though? Accepted. And I don't know they'll let me in. I'll try to come to Canada to get it, but I don't know they'll let me in there.
Do they dip it in maple syrup there?
Here. I need AJ Francis to intentionally botch a dive between the ropes.
Between, not even over.
No, between.
Can he get stuck in between the ropes?
That'd be funny.
And like kick back and forth.
He tries to do like the Santos thing and
he's like,
just gets stuck.
Yeah, brother, I'm stuck in it. Oh wait, that's a different show. I
don't even know if that's PG.
It's not.
Oh, God. That was so great.
Okay, so I'm gonna be 100. I know who Jeff Cobb is. I don't know his moveset. Does he do anything like top rope?
I mean, he does high flying stuff, but it's mostly like he'll do like a ground moonsault and stuff like that, like things that a big guy should not be able to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
I would 100% have him go for something and Keith Lee catch him.
That would be cool.
I don't know what the move would be, whether it was just a crossbody, whatever, like a running, like he's gonna just crossbody him. Big E is gonna hit the big ending on Keith Lee. AJ Francis is going to break up the pin. Keith Lee ends up pinning AJ Francis for the win.
I guess we'll stick with the Booker T theme and go, I like it.
There you go. All Yeah, I would go with Keith Lee winning. I mean, those 4 dudes in the same ring, that is a lot of whew.
It's a lot of mass.
Yeah. I would like to be nostalgic and say that Big E would win, but no, I don't think he would.
I like Big E. I'm sorry. Keith Lee never got the love he deserved in WWE once he left NXT. Because let's be fair, he was running NXT and it was amazing.
Mm-hmm.
Yes.
Yeah, he was.
So yeah, Keith Lee is also my pick on this. Little known fact, Keith Lee is one of my favorite wrestlers, which is why he got put in this match with the other 3. So I'm never going to go against Keith Lee. I also love Big E. I like AJ Francis. I've actually interviewed AJ Francis, a small pub for the Run In Wrestling podcast and Chair Shot Sports. Actually got to interview AJ Francis, which was a really cool interview. Go check it out on my channel at the Run In Wrestling podcast. And I'm learning a lot more about Jeff Cobb. I've seen a little bit of his work, but not as much as I probably should have, being at a New Japan and Lucha Underground and all that. But yeah, I would actually have Keith Lee pin Big E after a fairly good match between the 2. Jeff Cobb gets pissed off and takes out AJ Francis, puts him through a table. Keith Lee and Big E team up to take out Jeff Cobb. I'm not sure why I said it like that. Jeff Cobb. And then they just kind of go one-on-one for a little while, and then Keith Lee ends up taking the win. But I do want at one point to have that famous Keith Lee shot where maybe AJ Francis is like doing 10 shots to Big E in the corner, and all of a sudden you just see Keith Lee just pop his head up and then do a shot and then start taking over. That was one of my favorite things in WWE back at that time, was just that Keith Lee shot.
Well, between that shot or when he pounced Adam Cole out of nowhere into the crowd, he was always good about those memeable moments.
And then he threw Isaiah Cassidy out of the ring and into outer space.
Yeah.
He may not have landed yet.
Nope.
I don't think he has.
Anyway. Yeah, no. That's a big ass match.
Yep.
I do like it as well. Before we get out of here, Sean investigates when a forgetful family friend claims to have solved an old murder case, which could potentially be linked to more recent killing. Next on Psych, so stay tuned.
Did you have this loaded whether I was going to be here or not, or did you just have that in case I showed up?
I have it every time.
Oh, okay.
I actually just finished Psych again, 2 days ago.
I've got sponsors I got to answer to. They're next. I have to do these. Speaking of sponsors, we're also proud affiliates of Sports Coin Network, where passion for the game actually gets rewarded. You watch, you engage, you earn. Simple as that. Before we go to the normal outro of the show, thank you again, Big Mike, for being here with us. How can people find you?
You see it down there under the Big Mike name. It is @ Big Mike 27, pretty much on all socials. You can also search that on YouTube, or you can look up the Run In Wrestling podcast. We are live every Thursday at 8 o'clock Central Time. We are a affiliate of Chair Shot Sports Media Group, so make sure you go check out them. The Lowdown with John Anthony and Jesse B. Almost forgot her name. I'd have never heard the end of that one. Also, everything on the Suds News. If you like wrestling, you would also kind of like soap operas because they're very similar, especially in WWE. So go check out him on the Suds News podcast. Just announced yesterday the Chokeslam Wrestling Report is joining the Chair Shot Sports Media Group. So I'm not actually spoiling anything because he actually put it on Twitter yesterday, so I can say that now. Stay tuned for more additions coming soon to the Chair Shot Sports Media Network. More shows, more ways to watch wrestling, more ways to watch everything. So yeah, just come check us out.
That's all great. Yeah, Chair Shots Media Group, all of them are great friends of the show. I think I've collabed with at least one from every show since it started. So, and I think there's a thing. I'm not going to announce it, but I think there's a thing coming with me and Tori for Suds coming up. That might be happening. So, see more on that. Plus, we have John, I believe, is doing a lot of announcements tomorrow on his show, if I remember right. A lot of things going there. So definitely tune in tomorrow to his show. And if you can stay up until 1 a.m., catch a lot of the review shows. I try to catch them, but good Lord, I'm an old man and I can't stay up that late.
Well, and so the Monday night one shouldn't be as bad because I'm not on there every week. And as you have seen much here, if this is the first time you've seen me, I like to talk a lot. So usually Monday night doesn't go as long.
Mm-hmm.
The Friday night one that I will try to be a part of every week, just because you don't have to wake up early on Saturday. So I'll try to be on that one. So it may last a lot longer. But yeah, I talk a lot.
Tori looked like a deer in the headlights. That's because I make moves and then I tell her about it later. Like, hey, by the way, we're doing this.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Right here.
Strap up and let's go.
That's right. I appreciate that, ma'am. My knees, my back, and my crack all tell me different. That's how that song goes, right? No? Okay, well.
Close enough.
Just close enough. Well, that's it for tonight, folks. Just remember, as always, remember that wrestling today is like the biggest buffet you've ever seen. If you don't have to love everything on the table, but enjoy what's on your plate. Load up on what hits for you. Catch us on TikTok, YouTube, Twitch, Blue Sky. Sign up for our Discord, which is not on this screen because I forgot to put it on this screen. I fail. But catch up on our Discord for our shows on Thursday. Share your faves. Drop your thoughts. Keep this conversation going. Hit the likes, the subscribes, all those fun things. And in the meantime and in between time, we will catch you on the next one. Bye.
Here's the cover. Can he do it? Kick out at 2.